Hello and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Wargaming, a show with no bells, no whistles, no frills, just a man, a camera, and his game. On this episode, we're going to take a look at one of my favorite games from the card-driven game, the CDG genre, if you will. A game that, this is a topic I don't get involved in too often. It's not like the Pacific Theater, the Eastern Front, or Frederick the Great, even anything like that. This is one that every once in a while I get to feel the need to play, and when I do, this is the game I pull out. I always enjoy this game. It's a lot of fun. It is a either much loved or much maligned game from GMT. For me, I am of course in the much loved category here. And that game, as you see in front of you, some of you may recognize the map, is 30 Years' War, Europe in Agony, 1618 to 1648, which if you know anything about that time period, agony is the perfect word. And designed by David Fox and Michael Welker. Now this is old school, as you see here, 2001 on the copyright date there. So, but I haven't played this in almost 4 years. Again, I don't play it too often, but this is one of those games that, you know, sometimes we as wargamers, you know, we have all these games and it's just like, shoot, I get all these games and how often do they hit the table? But this is one of those games that when I do want to play this topic, I'm glad I've kept this one. Even though, again, like I said, it's almost been literally 4 years. Last time I played this was May 2017. But when I do reach that point where I'm like, you know what, I'd like to play the 30 Years' War. I pull this thing out, I always have a good time with it. Okay? So I thought I'd go ahead and just, beginning turn 4 here. I just added the intervention cards, which means now, of course, Sweden and France, among other folks, could get into the war, so things could get sporty here pretty soon. It is a game that some people complain about the victory conditions, because a lot of games end up as a draw, but if you're playing solo, well, you know, that's not as much of an issue, I guess you could say. Speaking of solo, I'm going to let the Protestants be played by Stuka Joe's CDG method, which, by the way, if you're interested in that, GMT is making a little kit. It's on the P500 list right now. It's not very much. It's like 14 bucks or something, P500, that you might want to take a look at if you would like to, you know, have the nice spruced up kit rather than just printing the files, which of course is what I've done. I've actually ordered the kit, to be honest, because the die that has the different sides with the different letter codes on it and stuff, it'd be kind of cool to have that. So, all right. So, where are we right now? Succinctly, we are in the year 1626 to 1627. So far, things have been a little weird, but that's one of the things I like about this game. Things can be strange. Now, right out of the gate, because of the cards I had, because, you know, CDGs, the cards that you get in your hand kind of dictate the strategy you're going to go with. Not entirely, but I got cards that basically said, you know what, you need to capture the Lower Palatinate and turn it over to the Bavarian Elector. So that's what I did out of the gate. But in the meantime, the Protestants actually went down here into Bohemia, Moravia, and captured all of that. They went up into Silesia and did so as well too. And actually old Wallenstein here, who of course is a big figure in the 30 Years' War, he's actually been defeated twice. That's right, twice in battle, which is something you usually do not see. But wow, I was just like, wow, wowie, wow, wow. So, I haven't had too many leader casualties so far, but I've had one major one for the Catholic side. That's been pretty much it. Okay? Alright. So, we'll jump into this here. I'm starting with the card phase here, and then we'll do the other phases as well too. I'll loop back around to that point in the turn, because the turn actually begins with the Wallenstein phase, where you can either keep him or dismiss him, because of course if he gets too much influence, which is kind of what happened in history, then you can automatically lose the game. So as the Catholics, you got to watch that stuff. Okay, and then there's pillage recovery, because if you know anything about this time period, it was just it was Ted Nugent all over the place. It was free for all. You know, I mean, it was just crazy. And then you get to the card phase here. Okay, so the Protestants go first. So I will let Stuka Joe's system dictate what we're going to do here. Now, of course, I'm not putting it on camera. If you'd like to see Stuka Joe's system in action, I did that with the Europe in Turmoil video that I did a few years back, if you'd like to look at that. Alright, so the first roll for the first activation for the Protestants is a 4. Alright. So if 4 means I gotta choose A, B, or C. Alright, well the war's starting to expand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play this card. I'm going to get a new leader for the Protestants. We're going to bring Baden into the battle here. Frederick of Baden. Going to try and get in the way here of Old Tilly. Because one of the things about this game is that even if sometimes you don't win the battles, if you can kill one of the high-ranking leaders, like Tilly or Gustavus or something like that, you can completely swing the game. Now, of course, this card has a little asterisk on it here, which tells you that once it's been played as an event, it needs to be removed. So, 2 Protestant militia. And, let's see, Frederick of Baden. There's not too many guys left as far as the Protestants go. So let me see if I can find... yeah, there he is. Okay, so we'll go ahead and set them up. And we'll put them in the fortress space here. Give them a little extra support, so to speak. I mean, not really, but, you know, basically. And we'll move the neutrality marker there. They join the Protestant side. So joining the Protestant side, which of course means then they will be part of the Protestants there, and the Catholic will lose 2 victory points, which drops them back down to 28 points altogether. Now we're going to replace the card. So let's see, what does it say? Because sometimes it says face up and sometimes it says face down, but this one says face up. So what are we going to add? Now we're going to add the Treaty of Heilbronn, I believe is how you pronounce that. Again, if I mispronounce some of these things, my apologies. Alright, my hand is the Catholics. Well, I got a couple different things I could do here, but what I'd like to do is, I'd like to go ahead and, unfortunately, the Pope's not friendly. The Valtelline passes are closed, so I got no money coming in right now. This is not good. But I do need to try and capture some things. But I think the first thing I want to do here, just to show you again how the game works, too, I'm going to go ahead and play this card. And I'm going to play it for the points, and I'm going to do 2 recruiting efforts here in Vienna. Vienna calling. Oh, oh, oh. That's for you Falco fans. I'm going to go ahead and do some recruiting there. I'm going to try and get some... Let's see. Let's get some mercs, because mercs are a little better than militia. So when you recruit, you basically roll 10-sided dice. The 0 is a 0 in this game, by the way, which can be a killer. And I'm going to recruit here with Piccolini. You can recruit twice with the same leader, but then you have to switch to another leader if you actually have a recruitment value of 3. So we got a 4 and we got a 7. Let's see if that's any good. One thing that is annoying about this game, I will say, is that the charts are all over here. Siege table, combat table, recruiting, looting, and all that stuff. And there isn't a player aid card. So you basically have to crane your neck and try to be like, okay, wait a minute, what column? I mean, it's nice that they at least have the different stripes over here. If you look, you can see there's orange and white stripes. But, dude, that's... I mean, granted, that was 20 years ago. So sometimes, you know, the way things have progressed and such, I think sometimes we get a little spoiled and stuff, but, you know, it was 20 years ago. Things were a little different. Standards were a little different as far as games and such go. So let's see if the 4 and the 7 got me anything for recruiting when it comes to mercs. Oh, let's see. Okay, we don't have to worry about any modifiers. No, actually we get a +1 because Piccolini is a dynamic one. So that's going to turn our 4 into a 5, which doesn't change anything. We got 1 mercenary step. And our 7 into an 8, which gives us 2 mercenary steps. Alright, so we got 3 mercenary steps. That was a good recruiting drive. So we'll get 3 mercs. Well, 3 steps of mercs, I should say, not 3 mercs. Because each unit has a total of 2 steps. So that, of course, 3 mercs. That would actually be 6. But now I'll be able to march up here into Moravia and start to capture some spaces and try to get control of Moravia and Silesia and eventually Bohemia. Is this the real life? Oh wait, that's something else. As we go through here. Okay? Alright, second activation for the Protestants. Let's see what kind of die roll they're going to get here. And of course you can use a normal 6-sided die with Stuka Joe's rolling, because in the files that he has posted on Board Game Geek, you can see there that you could just use a regular 6-sided die, and then you just use the little key there, so to speak. So the second one, let's see now. Second activation. Oh, let's see. Okay, so face-up card for event or lowest face-up ops card. Well. Now I sound like James Brown. Let's see. Well, if I do, I can't play that event card. I can't play the Treaty of Heilbronn because the prerequisites have not happened yet. And I got a bunch of combat cards too. Let's see. I want to save that surprise attack. I might go ahead and use that in a battle. So it doesn't do me any good with the Ottoman Turks because, well, no, it actually does, because Imperial units in Austria are not automatically paid this turn. Alright, you know what? We'll play that for the face-up card. So we'll put it over here just to remind ourselves that when it comes time for paying people, that the Austrians are not automatically paid. Or, as Arnold would say, the Austrians. Alright, let's see. I'm trying to hold on to a few of these cards like this, because I'm hoping to get the Dutch war track going, but the prerequisite hasn't happened yet, because I haven't had Spinola recalled to the Netherlands yet. Alright, let's see. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try to get Wallenstein to win a battle so I can show you a battle too. So we'll use this 2 activation card here. And I will activate Wallenstein with his crew. And we're going to go ahead and march up here to Budweis, have some beer after the event, and launch a big battle here against the enemy. So, alright. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll lay out the battle for you. And the combat system in this is pretty straightforward. It's not too difficult at all. Now, when a unit or force marches, that force, depending on how many units there are in it, must pillage spaces. Okay? So if you have 3 to 5 units, they pillage 1 space. If you have 6 to 8 units, which is the maximum, you can only have 8 units in space, then you have to pillage 2 spaces as you march along. So Wallenstein, going here from Linz, we'll go ahead and have him march up to Budweis, and since I started in Linz, I'm going to have to pillage Linz, which I don't like to do. It's Austrian territory, but oh well, too bad for me. Okay, alright, let's zoom in here. We're ready for battle. Oops. So let's go ahead and we'll focus on the battle here and show you how all that works. Okay, so we got our 2 sides here. We got the Protestants banging head with the Catholics. Okay, now, leaders in the game, the middle number is their die roll modifier. So Mansfeld, who's going to be the top leader here, he has a 1. Wallenstein has a 2. So we'll be able to use those as die roll modifiers. The other leaders do not add anything, but you have to be careful how you stack your leaders. But they still will have to have a leader loss roll, which is this number here. If you look at Wallenstein, there's this 8 here to the right of his portrait. That is the leader loss. If you roll that or higher at the end of the battle, then you're going to end up with losing that leader. So, and again, that can shift the fortunes of war, but it really did during the 30 Years' War too. There was a lot of leader casualties during the course of the war. Okay, so now for the Protestants, I'm going to go ahead and pull this 1 card off here, because combat cards are handled a little bit different, and I kind of have my own rules with combat cards too. So we're going to go ahead and pull this off and let them play this surprise card here, which will give them +1 to their die roll. So once you get everybody figured out, then you go ahead and roll the dice and just add the modifiers. So we've got a total of 9 combat factors, and each unit here in the game, it has 3 numbers on it. It has the attack number, the first one, the loss number, which is used in combat, and then your movement point number there. The last number, by the way, on the leader counters is how many units they can take with them by themselves. Now, if you stack 2 leaders together, then you can get all the way up to the maximum of 8. So Mansfeld, we're going to get +2 to his die roll with 9 units attacking. Ho! Nice. He's going to have 10, which is basically almost the best you can get. 11 is the absolute highest. Wallenstein coming roaring in here with his veterans. Oh, I forgot to mark the battle site. Hold on. I always like to use I always love this die. This is from one of the nuclear war games. It might have been from Escalation. It glows in the dark. I always like to use it to mark my battle spaces. I mean, I think it's appropriate too. So, all right. So Wallenstein with his veteran Austrian forces. Holy cow! The die jumped out. Oh, this is not going to be so good. Okay, so 10 total points on the combat table. So let's look at the 9 column. 10 total points, that is 9 losses. So we're going to have to take those losses out of the Austrian army. The Austrians got 5 on the, let's see, what do we got there? 10 column. So basically the same column, but they only got 5, so they only inflicted 6. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip the counters. So the Protestants suffered 6, so we'll flip these. You can also eliminate them too, but you can just go ahead and flip them also. Now, of course, if I had, like, say, 7, then I would just do whole numbers here. You don't worry about that. You basically drop the remainder kind of thing. Okay, unfortunately here, though, there was 9, so there's 3, 6, 9. Ouch, I lost 2 of my veteran units in the battle here. Wallenstein's almost left with nothing, which is really bad, because if you have a battle finish where the leader doesn't have any troops, he automatically is eliminated from the game. So yikes, that Wallenstein has not been doing a good job for me this game. Usually he's rocking things, and you kind of have to rein him in, because every time he wins a battle, he gets 3 points of influence, and if he ever gets to 20, you lose the game automatically as a Catholic. So you're kind of like, you know, it's kind of like having a German Shepherd ready to roll on the leash. But, man, not this game. This game, and again, this is part of the reason I love this game. This has been all over the place. Now, that was bad. We're going to have to, again, Wallenstein's going to lose. But now we got to do leader casualties. Let's see if anybody, see if anyone bit the dust. All right, Mansfield. He rolls a 1. Well, he's clearly fine. And Anhalt. Oh, Anhalt rolls an 8. Now, some of the counters have replacement leaders on the back, but as you can see with this one, some of them, sorry about that, this one, some of them do not. So he is eliminated from the game. So that is the end of him. All right. Not so good. So, Pyrrhic victory? Not really, because Mansfield is still there. Now, Wallenstein. How did he make out? Now, of course, if I'm the Protestants here next turn, I'm probably going to attack Wallenstein and try and eliminate him. Because if you can get rid of him, whew! Wallenstein's fine. He rolled a 3. And his subordinate replacement commander rolled a 1. He's fine, too. So, Wallenstein will have to retreat to Linz. The Protestants are victorious. And more than likely what I'm about to do here, if I can do it, depending on the Stuka Joe solo method die roll, I will end up trying to finish the job and try to eliminate Wallenstein from the game. All right. Whew, that was a tough break there for the Catholics. All right, here we go. So, Stuka Joe. I rolled a 1. Let's see what 1 is, according to the Stuka Joe rules. Okay, C, the C card. So now I got to flip one off the deck, which is a new leader. So I could bring George of Brunswick-Luneburg into the game, also, if I wanted to. Or the lowest face-up ops card. Now, the problem with that is I have a bunch of 1s. So if I wanted to finish off Wallenstein, I wouldn't be able to do it unless I played the C card. I can play the C card. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that. I will play this now. The problem, of course, is that the intervention cards were just shuffled. That's how thick the deck is right now. So if I don't get this new leader, I'm probably not going to see him for a while. But, where's he at? Brunswick-Luneburg. Well, oh no, it's the other Brunswick. Never mind. Wrong Brunswick. I'm going to go ahead and play it, though, for that purpose. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play it for the activation points. And we'll have to pillage this. Now, that's the danger here. Budweiss is about to go up to level pillage 2. And we'll go ahead now. Since there's not too many units, I'm just going to spread them out on the map. And we'll go ahead and we'll do the battle here. The Battle of Linz. Will this be Wallenstein's last stand? Dun dun dun! I don't know. We'll find out. So let's see. Alright, there we go. There we are. Okay, so Mansfield. Now this time he only has a strength of 7. It still gets +1. Oh! Wow, looks like Wallenstein finally, either he woke up. I'm not sure what happened there, but holy smoke. Mansfield rolled a 0. 0, of course, is a 0 in this game. Wallenstein, with his very weakened army, rolled a 5. So that's actually not too bad. That should actually get him out of this predicament here. Although, of course, it's going to cause me trouble because as the Catholic player, I've got to be dealing with the fact that now he's going to start to pick up some influence here. Alright, so 7 with a 1. That's not going to get you much. That's only 2. Now, of course, that means no damage on the Austrian army because 3 is the lowest step loss number. Let's see now. Granted, Wallenstein only has 3, but he does have a 7. So he inflicted 3. Okay, so that's enough. Basically, it's enough to win the battle and potentially survive. Remember, we still got to do the leader losses yet, so let's see what happens there. Okay, so Wallenstein will win, and we'll move him up the track to 9 now. Mansfield will have to retreat here in a moment. Well, if he survives the battle. Let's see. 3, he did. And of course now he has no subordinate leader. Wallenstein whew, that was a little nerve-wracking. That was a 6. And then his replacement leader, his replacement leader bit the dust though. So both guys have lost their subordinate commanders and all this back and forth bloody fighting going on here. So back to Budweiss and have a consolation beer, I guess, for Mansfield. And Wallenstein, of course, will hold steady in Linz. Alright, now I should maybe be thinking about finishing him off. But maybe I shouldn't. You know what? Since Wallenstein has gotten his so low now and stuff, maybe I should just let him go, as it were. We'll see. Can't decide yet what I should do here with that. Okay. Now, let me think about this for a minute here. So I've got 2 big options here. Actually, 3 big options. I could take Tilly and go west and drive into the newly declared Protestant state in the war. I could do that. Or I could take Piccolini and start just marching them all over the place and recapture spaces in Moravia and Silesia. Or I could recruit with Wallenstein. Let's see. Let's go ahead and let's take Piccolini and march around a little bit, I think, and try to capture. He needs a 2. Okay, perfect. So I'll use this card here for my activation. He's a 2. And we'll have him march around. Now, when armies are marching, you can spend an extra movement point to take control of a space. Okay, the number of spaces that you need to control an area is the yellow one up here. So, for example, let me just zoom in where I am. Let's find an example here. Here we go. So, over here in Württemberg, okay, you can see 2 and a 2. The 2 is how many spaces that I need to capture there, and then, of course, the bottom is the victory points. So, in order to control Württemberg, I've got to control both of its spaces. Okay, it only has 2 spaces. Now, no, I'm sorry, it has 3. There's a third one down here. But these other ones, these purple ones, are independent cities because, of course, at that point, there was a lot of independent cities that existed in Germany during this time. Now, Germany was fragmented all over the place, basically because they did not have the rule of primogeniture. And when a dad died, if he had 3 sons, they split the land up 3 ways. Whereas, like France and England, it all went to the oldest son. Didn't happen in Germany. So that's why Germany ended up with all these little tiny states all over God's creation. I think I learned that in one of the 30 Years' War books I read. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So for an extra movement point, I can convert spaces. So what do I have here? I have a bunch of mercs. I'm going to leave this militia behind to beef up the defenses of Vienna, just in case. And I can only take 3 anyway, because Piccolini's number is 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll go ahead and we'll pillage Brunn as we pass through. We'll flip this to Catholic control, and then we'll march into Silesia for our 6th point, and the next time I activate him, I can try to start taking Silesia. So the Catholics now bounce back up to 30 victory points, acquiring that space. All right, not too shabby. All right. Protestants. Oh, let's see. Okay, face-up card for an event or lowest face-up op card. Oh, whew, I'm getting some bad die rolls here. I only have 3 of each of those. You know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to play... We'll play this here. And I want to use this for the 1 point here to recruit for Mansfield. See if I can get him some peeps there. He needs some help. And we'll try to do that militia. So it's going to be hard, though, because, of course, he's recruiting in a 2-value space. So let's see. Oh, never mind. I can't do that. Forget that. Scratch that. I can't recruit in a 2 space. So I'm going to have to use that 1 for something else then. You know what? We'll use it up here then. I forgot. He's in a 2 pillage space. You cannot recruit there. So we'll recruit up here with these guys. So there'll be a -1. We're trying to get some militia. Try to build up another army for the Protestants there. -1 though, of course, because we have a level pillage there, and they will get 1 step of militia out of that. So, okay, better than nothing. Yeah. Now, if you keep units in a fortress, because you can see these guys are here at Prague, at least now you probably can, that I moved my big arm. That's always helpful because then it adds to the defense value. So, for example, Prague has a value of 5, so you have to have at least 5 combat factors to lay siege to it. I'll try to show you guys a siege here if I can. Let me see if I can find a place to siege. But you need at least that, but now you need 6 because I have the militia there hanging out inside of there. Okay. Alright, Catholic turn now. I'm going to go ahead and try to activate Piccolini again. So I'll use this 2 card. I'm going to try and have him march around Silesia. So we'll spend 1 movement point, 2 to Breslau. You know what? Perfect. This will work out perfect. 3, and I'll stop over here at Frankfurt on the Oder. So that was 2 spaces I captured. I only need those 2. Pillage, flip. 2 more victory points for the Catholics. Now, if the Catholics ever reach 50, they win the game automatically. And then I'll stop up here and lay siege. Now, the first time that you set yourself up for a siege, you don't get to roll any dice. You just basically establish the siege. You know, it's like surrounding the city, getting your siege line set up, etc., etc. Okay. All right. Almost done with this turn. There's only 6 activations in each turn. So let's see what we got going on here. Next, holy cow, man, I'm rolling the same numbers. All right, face-up event, lowest face-up card. Whew. That's the 36 I've rolled this turn out of 5 rolls. Okay, I can't play that event. I don't need that event. I mean, I could play the Treaty of Ulm, but I don't know if that really helps me. Otherwise, I have to play this one. Yeah, face-up card for event or lowest face-up ops card. Well, let's see. You know what? I will go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and play that card. Let me just check about facing. Okay, so face up. That's interesting. Well, I want to save that if you can. But what I'll do is I'll go way over here, and I'll activate this leader, and I'm going to go ahead and march him down and try to get him down to, let's see. You know what? Let's march him down here. Now, you know what? Because Spinoza is right there. Let's march him down to the lower Palatinate. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So we'll activate him. He can take 3 units with him, and he's got militia. So 1, 2. Now you know what? We'll tell Spinoza to come get some. I think I have enough to lay siege. I need 4 combat factors, and I have at least 5 here. I do have 5, so I barely have enough to establish that siege. So let's go ahead and we'll do that. Okay. There. We are laying siege. All right. Next to last one for the Catholics. Oh, let's see. Well, I could activate my friend Piccolini again and try to do that siege up there. But I was hoping to hold on to one of these ones here. But I think the Spinola ones, they're ones that look like this. The Spinola besieges different places. But I need the Spinola Recall to the Netherlands has to be played. But I don't have that right now. But they both do the same thing. Okay, you know what? We'll just do this to activate the siege. So we'll activate Piccolini. We'll do this, and then I'll see if I can pull this off. Okay, so siege table. All right. So let's see. Catholics believe sieging a port city. Nope, that's not a port city. Port city's up on the top. They have the blue anchors on them. Fortress siege modifier. Frankfurt on the Oder has a 0. Okay, no worries there. Spinoza, well, Spinoza is, yeah, exactly. Continue siege marker. Well, I don't have that because I have a fresh one here. So basically, I need some help. I need 5 or better. So basically, I got a 40% chance of pulling this off. Okay, here we go. Big money, no whammies. It's a 3. Bollocks. All right, 3 is unsuccessful. So now I will put down my, well, I'll flip actually. I will flip this over, and next time I'll have a siege modifier of 1 when I activate him. Actually, it's one of the things, because I was able to use Spinoza to go over into the lower Palatinate. That's one of the reasons I was able to get into there and get that all swung around, was because of him. Man, I'm having trouble hitting my dice tower today. I don't know what's up with that. Hey, what do you know? You've got a number that's not a 6. Wow, flipping time, man. Alright, let's see. 3. So D or E. I can play D or E for any allowable purpose. Okay, first I gotta flip up the E card, see what's under E. Okay, I got a 2 and a 3. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and play this 2, even though it's a little bit of overkill. I can't get to sleep. I think about the implications, and I'll see if I can pull this off. So we won't have any modifiers here either. So again, basically it's, as Paul McCartney and Wings said, with a little luck. Pretty sure that was Wings. Oh! So close yet so far. A 4, so it was not successful. So now they will get their ongoing siege modifier by flipping this over to a +1. Alright, last move of the turn. Oh, let's see. Well, I could do a couple of things. You always end up with 1 card left. Oh, I just realized I didn't play any aid cards for the Protestant. Yikes. So we're going to be doing a lot of rolling for pillaging here. And checking out because people are not paid. Woo! This is going to be bad. Yeah, this will be pretty bad. So I don't really want to play that. I'd rather hold on to that. Ah! Curses. What's this guy doing out of Vienna? He's supposed to be a Vienna! Well, I could take Tilly, though. That's true. Tilly can be activated for 1 point. I could march him around Württemberg and just try to capture some spots. Or I can march him back into Bavaria, so I don't have to. You know what? I don't want his army to disintegrate. Let me just. I'm gonna. I want to play chicken here a little bit, and I'm gonna March film. Yeah, I do realize that the Protestants are blue, and I put blue sleeve colors on the back of the Catholics. I like the color. What can I tell you? All right, so we'll activate him, and he has 6. So 1, 2, 3. We'll take him back to Munich, and I'll pillage this spot. I know that makes it worse, but who cares? Okay, so action phase is over. Now we got to pay. Now normally we'd have some aid going on here, but in all this excitement, I forgot to play one of the cards. I should have done that when I was trying to make a choice before for some of the Protestant armies. That may have a big impact here in a little bit, especially on the siege over here at Mainz, because if they don't get lucky with their looting, then they could lose steps, which would reduce them below the ability to lay siege. So that could be an issue. Let's see what happens. Of course, Piccolini could have the same problem too. All right, we'll start with the Catholics, and I'll show you how I like to do this. Okay, Tilly's fine. He's inside of Bavaria. Now remember, we did have this event card. So now Imperial units in Austria are not automatically paid this turn. So I'm going to have to roll for Linz and for Vienna. So, yikes, that is a high number. Even with Wallenstein there, I may lose those veterans. Whew. So there's an 8. That's a problem. Ooh, there's another 8. Yikes, there's another big problem. And then way up there in Brandenburg. Are you serious? 3 8s in a row? That's insane. Okay, let me just double check one thing on the rules. Because like I said, I haven't pulled this out in 4 years. But I don't think veteran status makes any difference. Yeah. Excuse me. It'll make a difference in die roll modifiers, but that's it. All right, now the Spanish are in the Spanish Netherlands, so we don't have to worry about paying them. They're good to go. All right, let's do the Protestants. Now, we have, well, a couple of things we can rule out here. We can rule out, I keep forgetting about him. We can rule out the Danish troops, which I haven't done anything with yet, because as long as they get a line of communications to the top of the board there, they're basically A-OK and paid. All right, let's start over here with the siege at Mainz. Son of a... Ah, look at this. The lower the better. They rolled a 0. 0, my hero. They're going to get paid. Ah. So I was hoping that siege might be broken thanks to looting and carousing and the festivities involved. But jumping, who's the feds that didn't? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Mansfield rolled a 1. Come on, man. And then we've got, let's see, who is the other one? Oh, yeah, the guys up in Prague. Oh, they've got a 5. Oh, I keep forgetting about Saxony, because quite frankly, no offense to people who are anybody who's from Saxony, but Saxony's about worthless in this game. It takes a 3-value card to activate them. They just, they annoy me. And they're annoying me further because they're about to lose their last unit for the Catholic side. Plus, there's a card in the Protestant deck for intervention that they're going to switch sides here eventually anyway. I'm going to lose the electorate and, you know. Alright. Anyhoot. Okay, so let's start reducing people here if we need to. Well, we know these guys don't have to be reduced, which sucks. We know Mansfield doesn't have to be reduced, which also sucks. We've got down here in Baden, they rolled a 6. Let's see. Looting. Pillage, level 1, they lose a step. Well, that's not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. At least for them. Anyway, not too bad. Okay, now up here in Prague, they rolled a 5 plus 1 because there is a level 1 pillage marker on it. So pillage 1 loses step. Well, unfortunately, I think we only had 1 step there. Isn't that what we got last before? Yeah, it was just the 1 step. Alright, so now that's up to pillage level 2. Remove that. And that's it for the Protestants. Catholics. Okay, let's see. Well, the guys at Vienna, it's an 8. Pillage 2 and lose a step. Whoa, what the heck went on in the capital? Alright. Well, that's because they didn't get paid. Wallenstein. Now, Wallenstein will make it a little bit better. Because he's got veterans. And he's a dynamic leader. So it's actually going to be -1. So, pillage 1 and lose a step. Well, oh shoot. They only have 1 step to lose. So now Wallenstein is completely vulnerable there. So, all I have to do next turn with Mansfield is move into that space and get rid of him. But, do I really want to do that? Should have let Wallenstein go for a while. He's got no army. It's like the Chappelle Show skit, you know. You're in. Why don't you sanction me with your army? Oh, wait a minute. You don't have an army. Guess you need to... Okay. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Alright, so that's bad news there. But the big news is going to be the siege up here. Okay, Piccolini is a dynamic leader, so it's going to be -1. But we do have... No, we only have 3. We only have 3. That's good news. Alright, so that will drop it down to a 7. So pillage 1 and 1 step loss. Let's hope that's not going to hurt our siege. Well, I mean, it will because... You know, alright. It is a little annoying that some of these counters are 1/2 inch and then some are 5/8. Okay, so we'll lose that step. We still have 5 combat factors, so good news, we can maintain the siege of Frankfurt on the Oder. Alright, okay. And then, last but not least, the Saxons, well, because there's already a level 2 there, and it's a 7. I'm not even going to bother to look at the chart because I think I know the answer. Now, the leader, of course, does not get eliminated. You know, just because he doesn't have any troops with him, that's only in battle situations. Okay, so, as you can see over here in Bohemia and into Saxony, we're getting a lot of orange markers with the level 2 pillage. That's pretty bad. Things are really going to start to get ugly with that. Alright, now continued siege segment. Okay, so now we're going to roll and see if any of these sieges get completed. So let's start with the Siege of Maine, where the electorate is. I got a +1 this time. 4 + 1 is 5. So, they were able to capture Maine. So Maine has fallen, giving the Protestants 2 points back again. Alright, not bad. Okay, now, Piccolini, come on, baby. Come on. +1, baby needs a brand new pair of shoes. That's a barefoot baby, man. Alright, now I think for a continued siege, let me just make sure that you do increase the level. I know you do it during an activation, but like I said, it's been how many years? Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter. Okay, so now we'll be up to +2. Well, the good news is with +2, hopefully I'll be able to finish this sucker off with any luck. Let's remove this because this, of course, is now in the discard pile. And that will go up to a +2 siege marker. So let me grab one of those. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? Hopefully complete this siege. Alright, we don't have any peasant revolts yet. That comes later in the game, usually during the apocalypse. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. Apocalypse card phase. There's, yeah. And that's it. So it's the end of the phase here. Okay, you can keep 1 card in your hand or you can discard it if you want. As the player, I'm going to keep the 1 in my hand. And now we'll move on to turn 5. Wallenstein, I'm not going to dismiss him because he's only at 9. He's not close to 20. And now we'll do what's called pillage recovery. So pillage recovery, basically both sides roll a die. And you have it rounding up. And then they get to remove that many pillage markers. You can only drop a pillage 2 down to a pillage 1. You can't remove a pillage 2 completely. Well, this time at least, the Protestants got bad luck. They rolled a 2, which is only 1. So you know what I'm going to do with that, of course. Naturally, I'm going to come over here and reduce this for Mansfield so he doesn't end up in big trouble. Now, the Catholics, 4.5 rounded up is 5, which is good. 1, 2, let's see. Let's do, just in case I need to campaign through here, 3, and then we'll do 4, 5 over here. Just in case I got to bring Piccolini back down that way, or if I decide to reinforce him if I'm doing well, because of course, if you look right here at the top of the board, you can see the flag of Sweden, which of course King Gustavus Adolphus could be showing up before too long. And now we're ready again with the next action segment. So I will deal myself 6 cards off the deck. Of course, with Stupid Joe's method, you don't deal any cards. One of the spaces is the deck. 4, 5, and 6. Let's see if I got anything good. Tell me some. Oh, it's the Cardinal Infante. Yes! Last game I played, not last game, game before last I played this. He was my good friend. He defeated quite a few leaders in battle. And to make matters worse, got the chance for him to go head-to-head with Gustavus Adolphus, because Gustavus actually came in the game before the Cardinal did, because the Cardinal has to get up to the Spanish Netherlands at some point, otherwise he's removed from the game, basically. You got only so many turns to do it. So basically you want to run with him through Germany, beat up whatever Protestant forces you can, and then run into the Spanish Netherlands as quick as you can there, too, so you don't lose him. But he was kicking butt and taking names, and like I said, he was winning the battles, and then afterwards, the leaders, like Gustavus was one, someone else was big leader too, got wiped out by him. So, okay. Well, I got some new Bavarian leaders. Combat card. Oh, see, look at that. I should have held that one. Look at that. You know, I had this first time around in the early war, and I played it. Oh, I played it for the aid. See how many aid points there are at the bottom? The aid points, each side has 8 points at the bottom. There you can see there's 13. You get them from different sources. So, like here, the Protestant one, you can get aid from France, England, and the United Provinces. But I forgot to play one of those last time, kind of, I guess, in my excitement of trying to play, you know, who can get Wallenstein kind of thing. But again, I mean, as the Protestant player, that's true. If Wallenstein, you know, is getting influence and he's not a threat, like right now he's completely defanged, he has no troops, you know, then why kill him? Let that keep hanging over the Catholic player's head, you know, because he gets points not only for winning battles, but for any city that he goes through that's gained by an army of his, and also when he recruits. Every time he recruits. So, you know, it is a very double-edged sword. He's one of the best leaders in the game, but see if I remember correctly, he got assassinated in bathtub? Was he another bathtub guy like that? Who was that during the French Revolution? Marat? Is that what I'm thinking of? Oh, it's been a long time since I studied the French Revolution, so don't hold me to that. Anyway, so there you go. If you've been thinking about this, I know it's one of those games that GMT has never reprinted. Some people say justifiably so. I have yet to find a better game on the 30 Years' War. Now, that's just my personal opinion. If you have a favorite 30 Years' War game, by all means, please put it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. But I always enjoy this. This is not for everybody, though. To me, playing this, especially with the leader loss, every leader in the battle could be killed. To me, that's playing No Limit Texas Hold'em. And some people can't handle the swings because how much things change from hand to hand when you're betting and stuff. That's kind of like this too. You know, if you can't handle that, you probably, you know, yeah, it's not a good idea. But overall, I enjoyed it. It's always a fun experience. I always have a good time. But again, it's not something I play very often because I think I read the C.V. Wedgwood book, and I have... Oh, who wrote that huge one? Hold on a second. There's a big one I got at a used bookstore a while ago. Here it is. Give me 1 second. Oh, I got it at Half Price Books. God, I wish we had those here. But they're only... I visit them when I can, when I go to Pennsylvania and Ohio. Because, I mean, we have Second and Charles here, but man, it's... Second and Charles compared to Half Price Books is... Like, Half Price Books is Major League Baseball. Second and Charles is like Double-A. I'm sorry, but that is true. It is. I'm not even sorry. Who am I kidding? But this one here, the Peter Wilson book, and as you can see, that sucker is massive. So I haven't got around to reading that. I eventually probably will at some point. It's one of those things, you know. I pick books up at used bookstores, mostly used bookstores, not exclusively, but, and then eventually I get around to reading them at some point in time. So anyway, so there you have 30 Years' War, Europe in agony, agony. To quote Bugs Bunny, if you ever seen those old cartoons, which by the way were not for children. You know, they were made for before movies, in between movies. They were for adults. I remember the first time I ever saw that one Bugs Bunny cartoon, you know, the one where the guy's coughing and he's the conductor. You know, when you see it as the kid version, you know, they just show him kind of tapping his foot and then it's gone. But then, if you see the adult version, Bugs Bunny pulls out a gun and shoots him after a while because he keeps coughing. So, I mean, they weren't intended for kids, but, you know, as adults, you know, they're just lighthearted fun. We know you're not supposed to do stuff like that. Well, at least that's the way it used to be. Anyhow, sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a little mini microscopic rant there, but some days. Anyhow, so if you like what you see here, you might want to try and get a copy. I don't think they're super expensive on the secondhand market because, again, you know, people either love them or loathe them. You know, there's really no, I don't really see too many people in between when I look at comments and such. If you're interested in more detail, you can check out my review and a session report I did from some years ago. I want to say about 10, 11 years ago, around 2010 I think I did it. I'll put the links in the description down below so you can check those out if you want more information on the game, if this seems like it might be your cup of tea or not. You can take a look at my written review and take a look at that. Okay, up next, not sure. I may go dark for a little while, but don't fear, I shall be back. I'll be back. But I may end up going dark for a little while. I'm working on some stuff, working on some things. So, but I will share when I can, let's put it that way. But yeah, not quite at the sharing point yet. So, alright, so there you go. 30 Years War. Europe in Agony from GMT Games. And this is, as always, Tim Korchmey from Bare Bones Wargaming saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time when things are able to be revealed. And you can't see me right now, but I'm putting my finger alongside my nose, so you all know what that is. Yeah. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.